Emotions run high as Josie Duggar shares personal update about her parents' relationship. The Duggar family has long been known for their close-knit bonds, strong values, and their time in the public spotlight. From 19 Kids and Counting to various spin-offs, viewers have followed their journey with curiosity, admiration, and sometimes criticism. At the heart of this well-known family are Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, once seen as a unified example of partnership and faith-based parenting. But now that image is shifting in unexpected ways. In a new and emotional video, Josie Duggar, the youngest member of the family, speaks directly to her followers, sharing a heartfelt message about her parents' evolving relationship. And while she doesn't go into specific details, her words reveal a family navigating change, reflection, and a new reality. A glimpse into the Duggar household today. The video opens with Josie sitting calmly in a softly lit room, photos of her childhood in the background. Her tone is sincere, her words carefully chosen. She begins by expressing deep love and respect for both her parents, then transitions into discussing a new chapter that her family is entering. Things are different at home lately, Josie shares, her voice steady. Not bad, just different. We're all growing, changing, and learning how to support each other in new ways. Though she avoids specifics, it's clear from her expressions that the shift in the family dynamic has been emotional for her. She frequently pauses, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, as she speaks about her admiration for her mom and dad. They've given so much to all of us, she says, and now they're figuring out what life looks like with more focus on themselves as individuals. The legacy of Jim Bob and Michelle. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar spent decades in the public eye. Known for their commitment to their values, large family, and deep-rooted faith, they became role models for many who admired their lifestyle. Their home was often described as a place of structure, discipline, and spiritual guidance. On their reality show, they welcomed viewers into their home and shared their routines, philosophies, and beliefs. But as with any family, what happens behind the scenes is more complex than what viewers see on screen. Now that complexity is being acknowledged more openly, with Josie's video marking a rare glimpse into the real emotional lives behind the family's public image. Navigating change with grace. Rather than focus on loss or division, Josie's message emphasizes love, grace, and growth. She explains that change doesn't always mean something is broken. It can simply mean that people are choosing to take time for themselves, to rest, and to understand what they truly need. Sometimes people grow in different directions, and that's okay, she says gently. What matters is that there's still love and respect. Fans have taken to the comment section of the video in overwhelming numbers, expressing support for Josie and her family. Many are praising her maturity and the way she spoke with compassion and clarity. Your parents gave so much to others. It's okay for them to take time for themselves now. Josie, your grace and honesty are incredibly moving. Thank you for speaking from the heart. Whatever happens, your family's love for each other still shines through. How are the Duggar children coping? With 19 siblings, the Duggar family remains large, diverse, and dynamic. While some of the older siblings have built lives of their own, others, like Josie, are still finding their voices and adapting to change at home. Josie shares that the family remains in contact and continues to support one another, even as each person processes things in their own way. We've all been raised on love, faith, and togetherness, she says. That doesn't go away. It just looks a little different now. There's a notable sense of maturity in Josie's perspective. While she's the youngest Duggar, her words reveal a young woman who has grown up fast in the public eye and who's learning how to navigate complex emotional territory with kindness. What's next for the Duggar family? For followers of the Duggar family, this moment feels like the end of an era and the beginning of something new. While many still hold on to the image of Jim Bob and Michelle as a unified couple, others are acknowledging that family life, especially one so large and so publicly followed, is always evolving. What comes next is unclear. Josie doesn't share any future plans or family decisions, instead encouraging viewers to extend kindness and patience. We're still a family. We still care deeply for one another. And we're still learning how to walk through a message of hope and understanding. The takeaway from Josie's heartfelt video is not one of scandal, but of reality. Life changes. Relationships shift. Even the most admired families face challenges. But through it all, Josie reminds viewers of one powerful truth. Love doesn't stop when things get hard. If anything, that's when it matters most. As the video fades to black, Josie offers one final message, soft but powerful. To anyone going through family changes, you're not alone. We're all human, and we're all trying our best. Conclusion: a family redefining itself. The Duggar family is at a crossroads, one that brings both reflection and opportunity. With Josie Duggar stepping forward to speak from the heart, fans are seeing not just the youngest Duggar grow up, but a new narrative unfold. One rooted not just in tradition and values, but in vulnerability, honesty, and a deep hope for healing. Whether this marks a permanent shift in the family structure or simply a temporary season of change, Josie's message is clear. Love endures, even as the picture changes. Duggar divorce, the shocking end of an era. For years, the Duggar family stood as an emblem of traditional Christian values, conservative family dynamics, and unwavering devotion. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, parents of 19 children, became icons of family life. Their story captured in the reality TV shows 19 kids and counting on. Their large, tight-knit family, filled with rules and religious devotion, captured the attention of millions, becoming the epitome of the Christian family ideal. But the seemingly invincible foundation of the Duggar household has been shattered. The shocking news of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's divorce has sent shockwaves through their fan base and beyond. For many who followed their journey for years, their marriage was the cornerstone of their public image, a model of love, faith, and loyalty. Now, with the announcement of their split, questions are swirling about what went wrong and what this means for their children, their legacy, and the broader conservative Christian community. A legacy built on faith and family. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's family was, for all intents and purposes, a living example of faith-driven devotion. They were not just reality TV stars, they were symbols of a particular worldview. Their large family, deeply rooted in religious convictions, became an ideal for many viewers who admired their commitment to family values and their unwavering devotion to God. The couple had made it clear that they prioritized their faith above all else. Their children were homeschooled, and their lives revolved around a strict set of religious and moral teachings. The Duggars embraced modesty, purity, and a life that was in service to God, with Jim Bob as the authoritative patriarch and Michelle as the nurturing matriarch. Their marriage was presented as an unbreakable bond, one that weathered the storm of public scrutiny, raising children under the guiding principles of their faith. For years, the public had admired Jim Bob and Michelle's ability to manage their sprawling household with grace and faith. They were widely considered a success story, showing that a large, tightly knit family could thrive if grounded in biblical teachings. The Duggars' commitment to each other and to God seemed to be the foundation of their empire, making the announcement of their divorce all the more shocking. The shocking split. When news broke that Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar were divorcing, it was like a bombshell for their followers. The couple, who had been married for over 30 years, had always presented themselves as the epitome of marital bliss. Fans who had watched their lives unfold on television, seeing their commitment to each other and to their faith, were stunned. How could such a marriage, one built on faith, devotion, and shared values, fall apart? Details about the divorce remain scarce, with both Jim Bob and Michelle opting to keep the reasons for their split private. However, speculation is rampant. Some have suggested that the pressures of living in the public eye may have contributed to the dissolution of their marriage. The constant scrutiny of their lives, the cameras in their home, and the expectations placed upon them could have taken a toll on the couple. Others speculate that deeper personal issues, which have remained hidden for years, may have finally caused their relationship to unravel. Regardless of the cause, the fact remains that their divorce has ended a chapter in the Duggar family's narrative. For many fans, the Duggars' marriage had been seen as the ideal model of Christian faithfulness, a narrative that now feels broken and incomplete. What happens when the foundation of a family, so deeply intertwined with faith and values, is no longer intact? The impact on their children. Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this divorce is the effect it will have on the Duggar children. For years, the public watched as Jim, Bob, and Michelle raised their children with a clear, unwavering vision. The children were taught to embrace modesty, purity, and obedience, and they grew up under the watchful eye of their parents, living a life that revolved around church, family, and home. But now their family dynamic has changed forever. With the divorce, the children are forced to confront a new reality, one that doesn't fit into the narrative of the perfect Christian family that they were taught to uphold. Some of the older Duggar children, already in their 20s and married with children of their own, have already started to break away from the strict teachings they were raised with. The divorce will only complicate these evolving relationships, potentially deepening the divide between the parents and their children. The younger Duggar children, still living at home, may be the most affected by this split. Raised in an environment where family unity and religious devotion were everything, they now face the reality of a broken home. Divorce, in many conservative Christian circles, is seen as a failure of faith. It's a painful and often shaming experience, especially for those who have publicly embraced the idea of marriage as a sacred institution that should never be broken. As the Duggar children navigate this difficult moment in their lives, they will have to reconcile the image of the perfect family with the reality of their parents' split. They will also face the emotional toll that comes with seeing the foundation of their upbringing crumble, forcing them to question the values and beliefs they were raised with. The Christian community's reaction. For the broader evangelical Christian community, the Duggars were seen as a shining example of what family life should look like. They were a beacon of light for those who sought to live a faith-based life, and their marriage was often held up as a model of marital success. For many, the Duggar split challenges the very notion of what a Christian marriage should be. In the world of evangelical Christianity, divorce is a touchy subject. While many understand that divorce can sometimes be necessary, it is still often seen as a failure to live up to God's ideal for marriage. The Duggars, having publicly promoted the idea that marriage was sacred and should never be broken, now find themselves in a difficult position. Some fans are questioning the authenticity of the message they've preached for years. How can a marriage that seems so rooted in faith and devotion fall apart? Is their faith in God's plan no longer enough to hold their marriage together? Others within the Christian community argue that this is just another reminder that even the most devout individuals can face difficulties in their marriages. They point out that everyone, no matter how strong their faith, is human and subject to the same struggles and imperfections that come with relationships. This divorce, while shocking, is a reflection of the complexity of life and the human condition. It doesn't necessarily invalidate the Duggar family's teachings or beliefs, but it does show that faith is not always enough to prevent personal pain and hardship. The future of the Duggar legacy. The future of the Duggar legacy is now uncertain. For so many years, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar were seen as the embodiment of traditional Christian values. They were the poster family for conservative, faith-driven living. But with the collapse of their marriage, the image of the perfect Christian family has been forever tarnished. What happens now? The Duggar children, now young adults, will continue to live their lives in the public eye. They will make their own decisions, some of which may deviate from the values their parents instilled in them. Will they continue to uphold the teachings they were raised with, or will they forge new paths, shaped by their own experiences and perspectives? The Duggar family's future may look very different from the idealized image they once projected. The divorce has opened a new chapter for them, one that will be marked by challenges, growth, and possibly even transformation. As they move forward, they will need to navigate not just the complexities of family relationships, but also the expectations of their followers and the scrutiny that comes with being public figures. Conclusion: the divorce of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar is a devastating blow to their family, their fans, and their legacy. For years, they presented themselves as a shining example of faith, love, and devotion, values that millions of people admired and sought to emulate. But now, with their split, that image has been shattered. The Duggar family, once seen as the epitome of Christian family life, must now face the reality of rebuilding their lives in the wake of this shocking change. For their children, the road ahead will be difficult, filled with emotional challenges as they grapple with the consequences of their parents' divorce. For the Christian community, the Duggar split raises tough questions about the nature of marriage, faith, and the limits of human resilience. As this new chapter unfolds, one thing is certain: the Duggar family's legacy will never be the same.